Welcome to another tutorial for Workshop Software. Today we're going to talk about creating records. Let's start with customers. On the customer page, you can view all of the customers in your system, or you can press the plus icon to create a new one. You'll see some quick actions next to the customer, including edit, add a vehicle, add a booking, add an invoice, or send a text or email. Let's edit an existing customer and see what it looks like. So you can see you can add in a name. I currently have first and last name because it's set to individual, but I can toggle that over to company to have one name field instead. This has no other effects on Workshop software other than choosing one or two name fields. You'll also notice a toggle here for cash, which means cash on delivery, and this person will pay straight away after a job. Or account, which means this person does not pay straight away, they get a payment term. And you can specify that payment term here. Now don't worry, if you haven't set that up and you've already created an invoice for them, the account type and the payment terms can be set on the invoice. You can add a lot of information here about your customer, and the most important ones are going to be the mobile number so you can text them, and the email so you can email them. If you have reminders turned on, select the method you'd like to send them reminders here under Preferred Method of Contact. This is the price adjustment line. The hourly rate field will set a fixed labor rate for all labor lines on an invoice. The discount will lower the price from retail price, and the markup will increase the price based on cost price. You can also add other information for this customer in contacts 1, 2, and 3, or save notes. You'll notice at the bottom of the page, all records linked to this customer, including vehicles, invoices, and more, can be found here. A vehicle cannot be added into our system independently. It must be added to a customer. So this is where you would add a vehicle to the system. Let's take a look at the vehicles page. So I can see all of my existing vehicles. There is no plus icon because we've just looked at where to add vehicles in on the customer profile. But let's open one of these. So you can add the registration. You can add all of the vehicle's information in these fields, and you can even add some notes. In Workshop software, we have a registration lookup feature, this magnifying glass here. All you need is a registration number, a state, and once you press that button, it will use from your registration lookup credits to fill in the majority of the information below. You can find out more details in the help knowledge base, just over here. And to turn it on, all you need to do is go into integrations, automotive, and registration lookup. That's where you would activate it and purchase registration lookups, which start from 39 cents each. For the amount of time saving it gives you, it's definitely worth the price. With these date fields, I recommend pressing the calendar icon to more easily select a date. Keep in mind the Rego due date and next service dates are used in our reminder system, so be mindful if you have those reminders turned on and you add a date in here, this is when they'll be sent out. You can also press the star to transfer the ownership of this vehicle to a new customer, or to view the history. For example, the last time the customer came in and the notes you left them. You'll also be able to see any attached records at the bottom. Now let's take a look at suppliers. You'll be able to see all of your linked suppliers in here and create a new supplier with this plus icon. Let's take a look at one of our existing suppliers. So this is a supplier that I pay directly. So it's set to non-biller, and I've left the biller field blank. I could add any other information that I wanted here as well, including notes or other contacts. Now, if I had a biller, for example, potentially I paid Burson through Capricorn, I would need to create a new supplier called Capricorn and mark them as a biller. Our system does not issue invoices to the biller. Instead, you issue the invoice directly to the supplier, such as Burson, and you have Capricorn saved in here. That means our system will understand whenever you get an invoice from Burson, it's going to be paid to Capricorn. And just like the other pages, you can view any linked records at the bottom. Let's take a look at products. You'll see a list of your products here, and you can perform a stock take and adjust inventory levels with this button. You can create new products with the plus icon. And why don't we take a look at a product I have in here already? So you can see I have my item code, my description, and I have an optional description too as well. Searchable tags are words that are not present in the item code or description, but I would still like to be able to find this product when I type in that word. A group, you'll remember from one of our previous videos, is an optional feature to categorize your products. So you can divide your sales reports and stock takes into smaller groups. You can also use the groups feature for our price matrix that's available in settings. You can link this directly to a supplier. And you can even type in a brand. Now this is for a stock item that we've been looking at. So that's why it had options like supplier, brand, and quantity on hand that's available here. It also gave us options for a minimum stock we'd like to keep on hand and a maximum stock level that we'd like to keep on hand, as well as noting its physical location in the warehouse. The quantity on hand field will automatically go up and down whenever you process a customer or supplier invoice. If this is a tax or GST-free product, you can use this toggle. If this is a non-stocked item that you do not want quantity on hand to be adjusted automatically for when you process customer and supplier invoices, simply toggle Don't Update Quantity. If this is a serialized product that you need to maintain a history of their serial numbers, you can turn this feature on. And down here, you can add in the retail price that the customer will pay and the cost that you've paid. Down here, you'll notice there's a comment and job card comment field. The comment will automatically add itself to any invoice you've printed or emailed as extra notes directly under the product line. The job card comment will add itself when printing or emailing a job card directly under the product line. And like the other records, you can see all the other records it's attached to here at the bottom. Now this was a standard product as a stock type part. Why don't we take a look at labor? So this is an example of a labor line. You'll notice the type has been changed to labor, so it's removed some options here, such as supplier, brand, and quantity on hand. Instead, we have default labor quantity. This means whenever I add this product, what quantity should be coming up by default. One other thing to note about labor in workshop software is you have an option to mark it as a service. You need one type of labor that is not a service, at least. And we're going to create a second labor line just like this, and we will mark it as a service. What this means is our system can recognize when you use this labor, you're telling our system, remember today as a service, and we can then calculate the next service date for that vehicle. If you use the regular labor, we will not calculate when the next service is due. So this labor line, because it has this turned on, is very important for your reminders. You can also add your price of labor per hour, and you can add how much it costs your business per hour to have that employee working on that vehicle. You don't need to use the cost fields if you're having your mechanics clock on and off on the app. This is because the cost of the mechanic will automatically be calculated by the mechanic's profile. And underneath, you can see all the records this is linked to. There is an option in workshop software to have a product created as a bundle instead of a standard product. We'll talk about that in a future session. Now that's creating records in workshop software. I hope that was helpful, and get ready for the next video because that's where we'll cover the customer workflow from a booking to an invoice to a payment.